Reverse mortgage is like a credit card. You have this credit card and you have a whole bunch of credit on it. So you have $30,000 on that credit card you can use. You start using it. Okay, that's the reverse mortgage. You can take money out. But now you have that credit card where you have to make monthly payments. Well, you can make the minimum monthly payment, or you can make a monthly payment plus principal, or you can pay it off, or you can pay whatever you want. Hey folks, Dan Frio here, and thank you so much for taking your time out of today to join me. Today we're going to talk about reverse mortgages. And the reason why I'm doing this show is it was kind of unprompted. It's probably well overdue. Every once in a while I'll have somebody find me on YouTube and they're like, hey, Dan, let's talk about this. And most of the time, probably 99% of the time, the people are just anxious. They don't understand what a reverse mortgage is. And so today I just want to give you all the information. No, I'm not Tom Selleck. I'm not, this guy over through here. My name is actually Dan Frio. I've been doing this. I've been in the business for over 35 years. And I want to just give you my story real quick so you understand who you're watching. And then I'm going to explain to you guys what reverse mortgages are, who they're good for, who they probably aren't good at. I wouldn't take one, those kind of people. And then I want to explain to you kind of, reasons why I did this. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start backwards and move ourselves forward first. I'm going to actually give you a special calculator I created. There's nothing kind of real, no wizardry behind it, but at least gives you access to how much equity you might have. So let's first off, who am I? Why am I doing this? Well, the reason why I do this is I've been in the mortgage business for over 35 years now. And about 15, 20 years ago, I got on the Christian radio and I had a show every night and I was just educating people on things. And I had an attorney on one of my shows came in and he says, Dan, why would you recommend a reverse mortgage to this lady? She's 89 years old. She's going to be dead in 3 years. So why would she want to give her house to the bank and lose all that equity? And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I put out a few videos and those I went through the things and I didn't really push those. But I was on Christian radio. I had that conversation with that young man and I'm like, this didn't make sense. So I did a video and I actually did a radio show about it. I've been on News Nation. I've been on Yahoo Finance, NBC News, and even AOL. Yeah, AOL Finance. And so what I want to explain to you guys is who's it good for and who's it not good for. But back to me. I'm originally from a small town in West Virginia. I graduated from West Virginia University. I'm the only graduate in my family. And I moved to Chicago. I wanted to be a financial planner. I wanted to get in the markets. And then I got into doing mortgages. And I've been doing mortgages ever since. And about 15 years ago, I had a friend of mine. He said, my grandparents need a reverse mortgage. And they got a quote. And look at this quote. And I looked at it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I think they were getting charged like $20,000 or $25,000. And I was like, this is nuts. So I dove into it and I kind of get it. I got it. I'm like, okay, how's this even legal? Okay, so then I got involved in reverse mortgages and I started helping people understand it, but I get dwarfed by, these advertisements like this. But that's what really brought me to this. And then last week, not only did I talk to the person I want to reference as mom, as she was anxious, and maybe go down that story a little bit in here in a second, but then I talked to a financial planner who's a graduate of Notre Dame. She does fantastic. I think she was even in the Forbes top something this past year, and she's a friend of mine. And we were talking about some things and she's like, I said something about, I'm going to show this Thursday if you got anybody interested in a reverse mortgage. And she's like, Dan, we can't talk about reverse mortgages. And I'm like, why? And then she went about it. And I said, what do you know about reverse mortgages? She went about it and I'm like, that close. So today, what I want to do is just explain to you what truly a reverse mortgage is. And I even said to this young lady, and she's a Notre Dame grad, after about 10 minutes, she's like, I get it. I love talking to you. I always figure out something. So thank you, folks, for being here with me. And that's what prompted this video. I want you guys to understand what a reverse mortgage is in its simplest terms. I'm not trying to sell you anything. If you want to use me after all this is said and done, if you want to just kick the tires, does it work for you? It's not for everybody. It can be expensive. So you're going to have some different options. But let's go down and really, what is a reverse mortgage? Just in its face value. It's really, really simple. It's an FHA loan. It's a loan on your house. You're not giving your home to the bank. You're not giving your home to anybody. It's a loan. It's an FHA mortgage on your home. That's it. There's restrictions. You have to be 62 years or older. You have to meet some specific guidelines when it comes to, you have to have some decent credit. You have to have some cash flow. And you have to be 62 years old and have a bunch of equity in your home. That's the key point. You have to have a lot of equity in your home because here's how it works. Okay, so you have this FHA loan. Think of it that way. So that it's an FHA mortgage, but it has the options of you don't have to make a payment, and you can actually get money each month out of your home. It's kind of the reverse thing of how a mortgage works. Usually they give you a whole bunch of money and then you pay them back. What you're doing here is you're putting your house up as collateral like a mortgage, any other mortgage, and they're only going to go like 50% of your home's value because they don't want, after 10, 15, 20 years, if you don't make any payments, they don't want you to owe more on that house because they don't want the house. So here's what happens. You go back to, you get this FHA loan, and it is just an FHA loan. What I'm going to get to in a minute is where a lot of people are like, I'm not getting this. Is a stupid loan. I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so let's go down. It's an FHA loan that you don't have to make payments to it. Okay, so think of it, if you normally get a mortgage, they give you money, you pay it back. And then this one, you actually can take monthly distributions. But here's the interesting thing. Now I'm back on track, is you don't have to make a payment, but it has an optional payment plan. Okay, so think of it this way. And actually, Alan came to me yesterday and said, okay, a person just asked me about this. Okay, so think of it this way. Reverse mortgage is like a credit card. Okay, you have this credit card and you have a whole bunch of credit on it. So you have $30,000 in credit on that credit card you can use. All right, so you start using it. Okay, that's the reverse mortgage. You can take money out. But now you have that credit card where you have to make monthly payments. Well, you can make the minimum monthly payment, or you can make a monthly payment plus principal, or you can pay it off, or you can pay whatever you want. It's kind of the same thing with a reverse mortgage, but you don't have to make a minimum payment. That's the catch. Okay, so here's how it would work. Why then do they only give you like 50% of your home's value for a reverse mortgage? Well, think of it this way. If you get a reverse mortgage, when you can qualify at age 62, I'm 60 and I'll be there here shortly. Think of it this way. I get a reverse mortgage at 62 years old, and let's say my dad lived till he was 91. So let's say, God willing, I live 30 years and I never make a mortgage payment. Well, the bank doesn't want my house. So they don't want me to owe more on my house than it's worth. Okay, so that's why they only give you like 50% of your value. So that's why you're only going to get that amount of money. And then a cool thing too is there's a lot of fraud involved in all over the world. My processor this morning blipped me this morning. She just got hacked, her debit card or something like that. So there's fraud all over the place. So what they do in this loan is they do something pretty cool. You can only get a certain amount of money in cash up front for the first year. They want to limit that, not because they don't trust you or anything. They just want to make sure you're not being taken advantage of, because reverse mortgages are the number one fraud product in mortgages. And here's what I mean by that. A lot of people are getting frauded into taking the loan from family members, grandkids, things like that. So that's why a lot of people are like, a little bit leery. So there are a lot of protections for this for you as well. So again, think of it this way. It's an FHA loan that you have the option of making payments on. Okay, that's basically it. So your loan to values are limited. You're going to be limited for the first year on how much you can get cash out front, and it's for your protection. So now you're thinking, okay, what's this thing about, why does everybody always say I'm going to lose my house or the bank's taking my house? Well, here's what could happen. Let's think about it. Let's say you had a reverse mortgage, you maxed out in about 2008. What happened in 2008? Home prices went down 30, 40, 50% in some areas, 60% in some areas. Some people were underwater. With a reverse mortgage, there's no recourse. And what they mean by that is you don't have to pay anything back. So let's think of it this way. Somebody gets a loan when they're 62. They live to 102. They have a lot more than their house is worth just because of whatever. Their heirs can get it when they pass, and whenever you leave your home. So here's how it works. It has to be your primary home. So if you ever move out into a nursing home or you sell it or whatever, you sell the house and then you pay off this lien. So that's how it works. It's just a lien. But it has to be your primary home. So those are kind of the backgrounds of this loan. So it's the thoughts of, you giving the house to the bank. I don't know where that came from. The only thing I can think of where it came from is the thing that I just went through. It was in 2010-ish where somebody hit that point where they just owed more money on the house than it was worth and just give it back at that time. But if there's equity in the home, you have the ability to refinance or sell the home. So let me get to another one that happened. The last reverse loan I did, and every one of mine has a really unique story behind it, because I don't do a lot of them, because I can't compete with Tom Selleck and all those out there. And I'm going to show you how these guys are making a lot of money on these reverse mortgages off of you guys. But let's get to that for a second. So here's the reluctancy of why a lot of people don't do reverse mortgages. I think I might have pulled it up. Okay, so you're going to have closing costs, and they're normal costs because it's an FHA loan. Okay, so you're going to have a credit report fee. Credit report fees are getting crazy. There's probably going to be about $125 since this was published. A flood cert fee, you might have one. It's just we're verifying if you're in a flood zone. You're going to have document preparation, closing costs, courier fees, just all these junk fees, and those are going to be required on every loan. Even title fees. That's where it really gets there. Then you're going to have these other fees. It's going to be an FHA loan, and that number's going to stand out to you. It's like, whoa! But that money is going directly to HUD. It's not going to me. It's not going to Tom Selleck. It's not going to any of us. Where we make money and how Tom Selleck makes money, I am assuming over through here, is the costs. Now, here's which I want you to understand: the costs. These can get absolutely crazy. So what I normally do is we prepare all the documents for you, and then I give you the documents and what they would look like if you were getting a normal reverse mortgage. And then we go down through there, and once you go through counseling, I'll start going through your fees with you, and we'll start making some adjustments. I can't stomach, charging somebody $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for a reverse mortgage, and that's a common fee when it comes to these things. So the reason why I'm doing this is I'm not saying I'm exposing this stuff, but reach out to us. If you got approved for a reverse mortgage, I can get you approved because it's an FHA loan. But where you really want to break it down is, where are those costs involved to get all this done? And that's usually one of the biggest areas, people look into. I just want to make sure you guys understand, what is a reverse mortgage. The reverse mortgage, think of it as that credit card. Okay. So if you don't use your credit card and don't use the money, you don't have to pay any interest. Okay. So getting back to it, what you use is you take out any money you take out. Well, now you're using in the equity that I'm going to show you here in your equity calculator, and you can make payments on it if you want to, but you don't have to. Some situations, people are like, well, all right, I want 50 grand. I don't want it really to grow anything, but I'll make $100, $200, $300 payment each month so the interest doesn't build. Okay, so that's what happens. And then again, once the person does no longer live in the home, it's no longer their primary home. They go in a nursing home. Maybe they move in with their kids or something like that. The house has to be sold. They give you a year. Let me go to a story before we go to something. And this is what I was thinking. This is when I went kind of blank there for a second. The last reverse mortgage I did was awesome. And it was, the reason why I say that is, this young lady had a reverse mortgage on her father's home who passed away about 3, 4, 5 months ago. And her daughter worked at one of these financial agencies and whatnot. For some reason, thank goodness, she watches me. And she's like, Mom, Dan did a video the other day about reverse mortgages and how this house might be ours. So they call me up and they're like, Dan, here's my scenario. So here's what we did. The young lady, we did two kind of similar to these, but this one is the house. They only owed like 40 or 50 grand on the house. The house was worth 200-300 grand. So we actually got it into the person's name, refinanced her name, got her money, put the house in her name. She got money from the equity of the house, rehabbed the house, and now she's living in the house that she grew up in. And she didn't even know. She thought they were losing the house. And I'm like, no, you're not losing the house. You have it there. It's an FHA loan that you're making mortgage payments on it or not. And when the house, needs to be sold because you moved or whatever, you sell it, you pay off the loan just like any other loan. And then you take the equity. And if there's no equity, there was a housing crash or something happened, some anomaly maybe, you just walk away and say, bank, it's yours. And there's no recourse. And that's what I reference in regards to the no recourse. Basically, let's go back and think of this as a credit card. Okay. You take out a lump sum, you take monthly distributions. Now, as that balance grows, you have to either payments on it, interest only. You can make a penny a payment, $1, no payment at all, or you can pay it off each month, whatever you want to do. So think of it as a credit card. But this might be a way to take this and say, okay, I'm not going to use a credit card because the rates, think of where President Trump's going right now. And there's repercussions with this, and I'll go through them if you guys want. But, capping rates at 10%. I mean, it's tough. And there's going to be a lot of people that get pissed off because of this. Sorry for language. But if you have bad credit, the banks are going to be like, well, we can't lend to you because we can't charge enough in interest rates for the risk. So be careful what you watch for. But through here, what I was getting at is check those credit card rates before you use them. And maybe this one would make a little more sense for you. So let's get over to the reverse mortgage calculator. It's pretty darn simple. So what you're going to do is just put in your age over here. Let's put in this person is 75 years old. Just keep the expected interest rate there. It varies. Just keep it right where it defaults to. It doesn't really matter there. It will give us some variance. And let's say, for example, this person, their house is worth $500,000 and they just retired. No, they didn't retire at 75. Yeah, they just retired and they only owe 35 grand on that house. So what do they do? Well, they can go down through here and they have a lot of equity in that home. So what you might want to do is prep for this thing now. Get a loan when you don't need one and don't use it. So then you have it in the background, because think of it. Once you retire, maybe your income is going to go way down and you might not qualify for a loan. Well, this is a loan you can prep for right now, where your credit's up there before it deteriorates. So prep for the future. And that's one tool that this might help you too. So then you go down through here and over on the side here, you can see right behind my head there's all kind of different programs when it comes to this. And if you have a high enough loan to value, you can avoid a whole bunch of fees. And here, let me explain something to you. In these programs, you can get what's called a line of credit, or you can look at you can get monthly income distributions, you get term payments, lump sums, you can get all kind of different variations. But here's where it really comes into play when it comes down to those costs. So let's go over to costs. So here's what I want you guys to understand is to the bottom line to all this is the fees are usually where it's at. Okay, so make sure if you're out there and you got a quote from somebody, I'd love to look at it. You can upload it into my loan estimate review right through here. But I'm the only one in my office that works on reverse mortgages. If you ever watch my channel, we do a lot of loans, folks. But I take care of the reverse mortgage clients because they need a little more. We need a little more talking through, understanding. Here's what I'm going through right now, just so you guys understand. We had to put my mom in a nursing home about 6-8 months ago. And we tried to keep her house as long as we could. And it's tough. And then she started getting dementia. So we had to put her into a nursing home. And we just sold her house and I signed the check the other day and it kind of stinks. But I've gone through a lot of this stuff. So I know what you're going through. So my word to you, I guess, is if you're out there and you need a reverse mortgage, reach out to me. I'd love to help walk you through it. I'm not looking to sell you anything. I just want you to explain it to you what it is, how it works. And the major thing you need to look for those costs and fees, because those in many cases are ridiculous. And probably 80% of the clients that I do help, they found me because they saw a video that I did. It's like, basically wipe half the fees in half. And if you work with me, and you'll see along the way that you do, if you're on here and you've worked with me in the past, give me a thumbs up and let people know what you thought. Like I said, we don't do a lot of them. I want to do these as custom as I can. So if you need some help, when it comes to this stuff, I'd love you to help. So in conclusion, let me get the anxiety out of you. And if you got any questions, concerns, I don't follow a lot of these after the fact. So if you want, go to my website. You can right through here. You can ask Dan a question through here. You can request an appointment right through here. Don't put in your application. I really don't want your application. I want to talk to you. I want to make sure you understand what's going on with all these, what's going on with the program, how it all works, and no pressure. Let's go through the fees. Let's go through the costs. But the one thing, here's the first step I need you to make. Okay, think about it. Do you really need it? What options do you have? Do you have enough equity in your house? Maybe just refinancing to a longer term. I know, you're going to pay more interest, but that might be a solution for you. Maybe just a home equity loan just to subsidize your income, or maybe a reverse mortgage is the solution for you. I don't know, but we can go through all the options for you one by one. A reverse mortgage, 99% of the time, is the most expensive way to go about it. And I'm upfront about that as well. So that's what we do here at my channel. If you'd like to subscribe, you learned something today, you're a loan officer and maybe a realtor, hopefully you're a consumer out there, subscribe down there. So hopefully I explained this a little more in detail for you to just help you understand it a little bit more, but don't be worried about it. It's an FHA loan. It's backed by the federal government. It's regulated. Almost all the fees are regulated as well, except the origination fee. And that's where I can really help you out. So if you need some help with this, or you got any other questions when it comes to reverse mortgage, love to help you out. So that's it for today, folks. If you got any questions, please reach out to me. My conversation when you call me is going to be exactly like this. So we'll work through it. I'll get all the information from you I'll make sure we're getting you on the right plan or not. So thanks again for watching. I hope you learned something. Share this video, please, with people so they understand truly what a reverse mortgage is. Have a great day, folks.